Hello, it's me, Lancer737, and today I have This is gonna be a little bit of a strange video. I normally am and happy and stuff, but so I have a friend, and his name was David Montgomery, and he ran a channel. It was called Brush Up Your Game, and he loved Star Trek Attack Wing. One thing you might not know about me, and I've been inspired by him, is I love a game series. It's called Final Fantasy, not Final Fantasy, Fantasy Flight Games X-Wing. It uses game mechanics. The base game mechanics are very similar, or actually they are the same to Star Trek Attack Wing. So I also like Star Trek Attack Wing and a couple other games that use the same base mechanics, including Robotech Dogfight and the Dungeons and Dragons version with dragons dogfighting. But he loved reviewing Star Trek ships from the series, and unfortunately, he passed away. He had a heart attack. It's really unfortunate. He was a school teacher. He was really nice, though, and I also feel really bad because he wanted me to come on to the channel and help him review some stuff, but I couldn't do it. I felt embarrassed because, like, believe it or not, like, when I play games and stuff, I'm usually doing it through like the Xbox and stuff, and it's pretty easy to set up to talk to people through it. But like, I've never actually talked to people through like PC and stuff like that. And so I have, all I have is a headset like what I would have when I'm talking to people on the Xbox. So again, I felt kind of embarrassed because I didn't know if I needed a fancy microphone or anything, so I pretended not to notice that he asked me to come onto his channel and review some stuff. It's just really regretful, and it's just like something I was not expecting. It just happened. Oh, he did some other stuff too, but he loved a lot of stuff. His wife would paint like X-Men, no, Marvel miniatures. He owns a store where they paint miniatures, but he himself would they would do Star Trek stuff. You can see through the red lines that the stuff I would watch. It was really cool. But I miss my friend, and I think I want to show you like my favorite ship from Star Trek Attack Wing and him reviewing it. So the first video, I'm only doing two of them. The first video was one of my favorites. He did a video where he did a comparison more. It was more of a comparison than a review of every single Enterprise to come out in Star Trek Attack game and then rank them from worst to the best. And he put my favorite Enterprise of them all, which is the USS Enterprise A, the classic one, not the reboot one. I think rank 7.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, that brings us to number 8, and my number 8 is the refit.
Very good.
The refit Enterprise.
I was wrong. He put it at 8. he he put it at 8, unfortunately. But I love that thing. It's like a pocket battleship. Granted, he's going by not what your favorite is, which one actually is the best. So in that regard, I kind of understand, but that it's pretty lethal, especially against cloaked ships. He'll explain it.
And there was a time I adored this ship. If you had asked me to rank my Enterprises, it probably would have been in my top 3. But then came either the ruling or the clarification, and I don't need that debated. It is what it is, but that you had to have a token for each ability.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not that this is a bad ability. It's a good ability. It's just not on the best of ship frames. And the refit dial is not spectacular. If you really want to make this work, you're limited to a scan action. You can't guarantee that your opponent's cloaking. If you know that they are, this is a much better ship. But short of that, it's a tough ship to pull out.
And that's a fair assessment, because it more or less is geared towards being a very punishing ship towards cloaked ships. So it'd be also pretty lethal against the Riemann Warbird from the 10th movie, and also Chang's special bird of prey, which I absolutely swear it's a cavort just because of how big it is. I swear it's a light cruiser. It doesn't look like a frigate. Oh, and by the way, since my channel is primarily an MLP channel and then Star Wars and stuff, most of you probably have no idea what the heck I'm talking about.
Plus, it was a grand prize ship, so
Yeah.
I feel like I shouldn't have a grand prize ship way at the top. Not that I want to let that completely limit my rankings, but I think this ship has just seen better days, and yeah, so that's why it's down for me.
I think that part, though, is not a fair assessment. If a prize ship legitimately is way better than the other ships, it should be fairly ranked where it would be, which is why I would put it number one. Based on what it can do, what it's capable of, its price versus other ships. Even if their stats may be better, but economic wise, it's something you also have to take into consideration. It's just like the E-wing and X-wing. It's an amazing ship. It's just so expensive. You're not going to be getting very many things for it, and even other ships to fight alongside it.
Yeah, I mean, I think they can't overemphasize the fact that it's, again, one of those almost impossible to find ships these days. So it's always hard for me to look at a ship in a favorable light when it's not really playable for a lot of.
I'm very proud to say that ship that you see right there. I'm sorry about that. Hold on a second. Hold on just a second. The method I'm doing this was not well thought out, not good, and it has bad lighting. See that ship right there? It's very metallic. I got an Enterprise A. It's awesome. Again, I'm sorry about the lighting. You'll have to take my word for it. I do indeed have it, and this is the box it came in. Have all the cards for it in this box. Also, just realized that was not the Enterprise A I was showing there, but this is the version of Kirk that comes with it. Sorry for it being so blurry. I found the card. It was also right behind Captain Kirk from that set. But when he's talking about prize ships, what he means is like you had to compete to get that. There is a special tournament that was themed off of Star Trek. Technically, you could say 3. And then 4, 5, and 6. Really, I mean, they advertised it as 4, 5, and 6, but one of the ships in it was also in 3. But yeah, the ultimate prize for first prize winners was the Enterprise A with all the cards that come with it that they have talked about. And if they don't talk about fully in this, you'll see it in the other video. But unfortunately, I did not get to compete in that, so I got it the second way. Giving lots of money to get it, and it was worth it. But yeah, I just love hearing him, analyze the ships and stuff. It's just so fun, including my favorite one, even if he doesn't say exactly what I want him to say about it.
Well, for a lot of people outside of Tabletop Simulator.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got the NX-01 here. And I really do like this ship. This is the ship that, again, really needs to be recosted. I want to see another.
And I do believe his friend would go on to...
Fast. It caps out at a 3, but...
I believe he puts it at 7.
Which makes sense, yeah.
It does, but it's a crazy good ship, and it's durable, and those 3 native defense dice are also really good. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's my number 7. So it's not like I'm way higher than you, but it's a solidly good ship. And
yeah, his friend just put it at 7, you can see.
I just like the ship. I like all that's put into it. I've kind of gone up and down with it, but every time I look at ships named Enterprise, NX falls in the middle for me. Even if I go like ranking the hero ships of Star Trek, the NX falls typically in the middle for me. I like it more than a Constitution. It just has that, like...
That's blasphemy.
Yeah, this is kind of like the first thing we'd send into space. Yeah, it's a good ship. It looks good. It flies well in Star Trek Attack Wing. It works for me. I like it.
Yeah, it looks like we just kind of flipped here on our 7 and 8. Yeah. I got the Enterprise A. I mean, I like this. I think, especially now with kind of the resurgence that the Romulans have, you're seeing more cloaked ships than you might normally see, at least in the games I'm playing. So that extra attack dice is nice. It works really well, I think, with Mr. Spock. He gives you your free scan token, and then you can do a battle station otherwise. So there are some ways to work with it. And finally, we have a Constitution that gets a tech slot.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I'm never going to see this in real life, but it's nice to see it. It's nice to see it in tabletop.
Yes. I mean, I was one of the fortunate ones to be playing back then and win one as a grand prize.
And I give David big props and respect for that. He actually won it in a tournament. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's... Fortunately, this is like the only thing in the pack that is really good. The rest of the pack, meh.
You'll see a big change in that because this is more of an update of how things have progressively changed in the meta and how this game works. We're going to see his original review. He had promised me he was going to do his re-review of it, and unfortunately he passed before he could do it. Here's his video. He made this 7 years ago. It's amazing.
Welcome back to the shipyard. Today we are taking a look at the USS Enterprise A. Spoilers courtesy of Origins and Tucker posting photos. Thank you, Tucker. Alright, this is the grand prize for the classic movie OP series. So keep that in mind. We got 6 cards, besides the generics. Ship, captain, 2 crew, tech, weapon. So, without further ado, let's get to it. The A, 3...
I miss his video. I miss him already. Because he was so nice. And I just absolutely loved watching his reviews. And, like, there's scenario war games that a lot of these packs come with. Not just in Star Trek Attack Wing, but in Star Wars X-Wing also. And every Thursday, he would stream a game of him with one of his best friends playing on the tabletop simulator, and it would always be a treat to have it on while I was working.
.144, 180 firing arc. It's great. 3 crew, weapon, tech. It's a Constitution refit, which is great. Named ability, when attacking during the roll attack dice step. If there is a scan token beside your ship, gain +1 attack die, +2 if the defending ship is cloaked. There we go. This is action economy. Take scan, get an extra attack die, and they roll 1 less defense die. That's an action worth taking. This is the perfect ship to put Type 8 upgraded on. Because now, you scan, you've got 6 dice. Yeah. Awesome. Alright. Tons you can do here. Captain Kirk. Yes, another...
I just love that. That's a pretty big thing, being able to have 6 damage dice. There's very few things that can do more damage dice than that in this game.
Kirk. That brings us to 4. Kirk's skill 9, 6 points, 1 talent slot.
Skill 9 is amazing. There's very few characters in any of the games that use this similar game mechanic that has a skill level of 9. It means that they will move last, but attack first, and that's to represent, like, simulate them having intuition on how to move on the battlefield that's better than their opponents. Because in the movement phase, you will be reacting to how all the lower skilled people or characters have already moved. And then when you attack first, it's again representing that character having better intuition of the battlefield.
Action. Place a battle station token beside your ship. When attacking this round, during the modify attack dice step, you may spend this token to re-roll up to 2 of your attack dice, or when defending this round, during the modify defense dice step, you may spend this token to re-roll up to 2 of your defense dice. You may still perform the battle station action as a free action this round, if possible. Meh. I'm okay with this, Kirk. Picard 9 is still better, absolutely better, but how many times have you taken battle stations as an action and rolled only hits and blanks? Fair number of times. It's flexibility that I think I'd rather have on a low skill captain so that the ability costs less points, because it's not something that I want to invest 6 points into. But it's Kirk, it's skill 9, and from that standpoint, I'm okay. Alright, let's go.
And that's a fair point. For me, I'm all offensive based, so having all those things appeals to me much more, and that's why I would take it more as something that, again, it appeals more to me having those stats than more balanced players.
Our crew. Valeris, 3 points. After your ship executes a green maneuver, you may perform an evade action as a free action. There's no action, there's no disable, there's no time tokens. This is the kind of crew I want. This is the kind of crew we need. This is one of the best crew in this pack. I love it. Extra evades never hurt you.
That's true, and when you're comparing X-Wing to Attack Wing, that's another thing that will throw you off, excluding any of the starfighters and frigates and possible corvettes that are in Attack Wing. Most of the ships actually, and it reflects it kind of well, most of the ships barely have any maneuver capability or defensive dice, as opposed to like X-Wing where you're like rolling 3 or more for defense. So it's a big deal to have more in both games, but for ships that barely can move at all, it's very helpful too.
3 points is a fair price to pay. So Valeris, 2 thumbs up, love it. All right, Leonard McCoy, 4-point crew. During the activation phase, after you move, you may discard this card to perform the action listed on your ship's captain card as a free action. Enterprise E Riker does this as an action for 5 points, not a discard, and it gives you a crew slot. I don't know that saving an action but losing the crew slot is worth saving 1 point. That's a debate you have to have. McCoy definitely has a theme in this game, discarding himself to enable things to happen. And it's nice to keep in a theme, but not the best way to do it. Alright.
I can see where he's coming from there, because you're buying something that's discarded in this sort of way. Then again, I guess you could kind of look at it the same way you would with munitions and torpedoes and bombs and stuff like that. You're doing the same thing with them. It all depends on what you think is important and on how you play the game. I think I'm probably going to lean towards him being right about it.
Torpedo Bay. 2-point weapon. Always intriguing when we get a 2-point weapon. Add 1 weapon upgrade slot to your upgrade bar. This upgrade must be filled with a photon torpedoes upgrade. When placing time tokens on one of your photon torpedoes upgrades, if there are no time tokens on this card, you may place them on this card instead. Okay, that's reasonable for 2 points. If you're doing a time token torpedo build, add in arsenal, and you've got some nice ways to manipulate the way you do time tokens, so I like it. I don't love it, but I like it. It's a non-unique card, Sadly, it's in a grand prize pack, so you're not going to get a ton of them. But it's there. All right. And the last card in this pack,
It's not, exclusive to Enterprise A, because you could use that on other ships, but that's one of the reasons why I feel like the Enterprise A in this game is a pocket battleship.
Isolation Door, 3-point tech, non-unique. Action, discard this card to flip over all critical damage assigned to your ship, and then repair 1 damage to your ship's hull. No ship may be equipped with more than 1 Isolation Door upgrade. This is a nice card. It's nicer in campaign play. It's not really going to see a lot of play in OP, but it's really nice for story play. Yeah, we've seen stuff like this for Romulans and Klingons with tritium intermix and warp core ejection systems. They cost more. Yeah, don't get me started on balance. But, you're really not running these things. This is equivalent to micro power relays for Fed. I'm okay with the costing. Things are what they are. So, overall, I love this pack. I think that this is a really cool grand prize pack. You want this because of Valeris and the named Enterprise A. Like, those are the 2 cards that stand out. Kirk's cool, but probably won't see a ton of play. McCoy, Isolation Door is neat, interesting, but probably doesn't cut mustard. Torpedo Bay, it has an application, but who knows if it'll actually matter. But yeah, I like the potential that's here. And anytime there's potential, that's a good thing in my book. So yeah, there you go. That's the grand prize, and I'm certainly looking forward to getting a hold of this and incorporating it into OP play and campaign play. So thank you guys for watching, and until next time, we'll see you around the shipyard.
Like I said, I miss them a lot. It feels weird. It feels weird to have someone just disappear, like this. I wrote him a message. It was like a month ago. It feels weird. Just like, I guess you could say like watching his videos were a routine, not a undesirable routine. It was a privilege and a pleasure to watch his videos every day. And it's just weird. It's gone. So weird. But anyway, that leads to the last thing I want to say. He's heavily inspired me because I love these games so much. I think I'm going to start doing what he did. It probably won't be as high quality at first, but I want to review stuff too. Not only that, and I used to talk to him about it, but I wanted to make a tabletop simulator where you could have Star Trek Attack Wing, any edition, versus Star Wars X-Wing, any edition. And in addition to that, I wanted to throw in Robotech Squadrons, Dungeons and Dragons, and a few other things. And this might sound crazy, but well, it is crazy. Mostly it was meant for X-Wing versus Star Trek. But the other stuff too, I feel like should be included, including especially Robotech. The other things though, you could hypothesize it as being, Q shenanigans. Easily. Having dragons show up to fight starfighters and capital ships. And I don't have a problem with the scale because like Star Wars starfighters do destroy capital ships that are bigger and heavier than the Star Trek ships. And there are starfighters in Star Trek, not very many, but there are starfighters in Star Trek that do damage and destroy Star Trek capital ships. So it's no big deal to me. I just needed to find the proper point values to make it so it's balanced. Now, including the other stuff will also be difficult because, like, looking in the Robotech, that is a new game coming out. And even though it uses the base game mechanics, it's the most divergent of them all. Looking at it, it's underpriced for what it can do, but I want to include it. And I just want to definitely do this for my friend. And because I love this stuff. Anyway, peace be with you all. Peace be with David and his family. And have a great weekend.